Hi guys, welcome to this week's video. I just wanted to talk to you about how do you record everything, and I mean written. You can also do it in many ways, but what's the point of it? When I was in Coven, we used to have to write a diary every day. Now, there's good and bad aspects to that, because obviously there's going to be days where you're busy and the thought of writing something down is like any type of diary. You're going to lose interest if you put too much in, or if you feel obligated to do it constantly. But it is ideal in the beginning of your practice to do such a thing. Here's one of the books, and it's just a journal. It's just, at the end of the day, it's just something to write. It hasn't got to be special. It can be a notepad, it can be anything you want. But the idea is to put things in like that. But there's all sorts of things in here that over the time I've written, and you will find you will fill your book up. It will happen. And if you do it daily, over a period of say a year, you will find you get to know who you are. You put the moon phase, the weather, how you're feeling, and then any little exercises that you're doing each day and what you've got from it. And that is your journal. That is your personal journey. So you will go out maybe one day in the woods or the forests or wherever you live, and you might find a piece of wood that you can make a wand out of, or you might see animals, and you just write down what sticks out to you and you put it in there. And when you look back, you'll see who you are. It brings you out, the you that you've never met, the you that you'd like to be, the you that is the witch within. And that helps you in a lot of ways, because once you know, for example, how the moon reacts with you personally, you know how to combat certain situations. For example, if the full moon makes you aggravated and the energy doesn't help you in any way, you know that that's how you're going to be. And it could be that you're worse at some time of the year than other times of the year. So you get insight into exactly how you're going to react, and you can combat then any situation that might come against you, and you can keep yourself emotionally stable. Because when you're dealing with magic and healing and being that special type of creature on this planet, you need to be stable, mentally, physically and spiritually. So writing a journal every day is fantastic. And obviously when you start, you're going to have days when you think, I can't be bothered. Now that's fine. Over time that you will want to do it, because you'll have things to put in there. It's not got to be neat. I mean, obviously, if you're really good at writing and you want to make it a work of art, then go ahead and do it that way. Add pictures and, make it a creation. Or if you're one of these people that is like, just jot things down, then do it that way. Nobody but you is going to see it. So it doesn't really matter. Again, you see, when you're writing notes, it's good to have a notebook. So just for jotting everything down, everything that you're learning, you just jot it in your book, and you can then rewrite it up at a later date. And you can buy books like this, which are really nice. Now this is empty, this one, because my Book of Shadows is outside. But that is a really lovely book. That is my Book of Shadows, or one of them, because in Coven you get many. The ones in the Covens are normally copied from your High Priest or your High Priestess, and you write the stuff in there. So, there's a lot of pages. There's a lot. Now, obviously, it's different when you're in coven to when you are practicing solitary. And the reason for that is when you're in coven, you're given a specific book of shadows to copy. It's part of your training. And there are rules and regulations. When you're at home, you can do what you like. So whatever you're learning, you can put in your book of shadows. It doesn't have to be like coven ones. So you can be free to express yourself. You can put anything you want in, and you can make that a work of art, because your book of shadows is something very, very special. And so the things I would put into mine if I wasn't doing a coven one would be, I would start with the elements and go through each one, what they mean, and just do your research and your study, and then put it in your book of shadows. It's a beautiful thing to look at when you've finished it, and you can keep adding to it. I know a lot of people in this day and age will do like a file and put pages into it, and that way you know you can add and take away what you don't want, or you can renew parts. Whereas if you've got a book, it is just the pages that's in it. But to my mind, I'm old school, and I do like a good leather bound book, and there are some beautiful ones out there that you can buy, or you can make your own book. It is just open to your inner amazement of your art, because as witches we are artistic. We have that ability to create, and so when you're doing your book, it's wonderful to put yourself into it. Now this one, as you can see, I put like angel wings on, and this is my book of angelics, and when I was doing Kabbalah, and this was the angelic course. And of course, again, you've got the written word. There's lots of writing. This is all about the angelics, how to work with them, and there was all sorts of stuff concerned with that. The other sort that you can do is to buy a binder like this, and that way you can put your spells in. This is my book of spells, and these are typed up, and they're in that, so you can see it better, and it is easier to do, guys, especially if you do a lot of spells. And as you can see, the back, I've got all the correspondences, lots of correspondences, and all my spells and everything. So it's really cool to have. It's really great to have diagrams and all sorts of things, so when you print things out, it can be easier, much easier for you. In here is all recipes for incenses, which is basically the book of all the herbs and everything that you need to know, poisons and how to use them. So there's an abundance of stuff in these books that you can keep. Sadly for me, I can't read them anymore. So that is sad for me. So things I have to do as a disabled person now, I do have to use audio and the computer and things like that. So I do what's called a book of mirrors. Now, book of mirrors is what it's depicting. It's mirroring what you want, and you can do that online. You can make a special folder, and it can be audio or visual. And that is much easier for me. Now I can't read, because when I look at a page of writing, I just see mush. I don't see words. And so it's very difficult for me. And it's sad because I have all this information in my books and I can't look at it anymore. So it is rather sad, but that is life, and that is experience of life. And you just have to take it on the chin, and you have to adapt and move on in a different way. Now, the reason I wanted to do this today and show you all these books is because, well, it's very confusing when you start a path. You know, you do study and you don't know, how do I do this? And so I like to give each book a title. Each book is specifically for that particular thing. So if you're going to do something on the moon, you keep a moon diary or a moon journal. If you're going to do something on nature, like herbs and things like that, you'll keep a book of herbs. And so it goes on. With a grimoire, for example, you could put all about the energies of the fairy folk or the dragons or whatever it is that you are using in your practice. And this is a great thing to do. You have it all at your fingertips and you can look back and see what it is that you would like. But for those of you who are disabled, that are having trouble, it's good to spend time in meditation with your guides and to get their ideas on how you should go forwards in your practice, because they know you, they know your needs, and they know how it's a lot harder for you to do these things. And so at the end of the day, don't worry if you have these issues. There are ways around it, like, for example, as I've said, audio files. And audio is fantastic if you have got good hearing and not so much of your sight. And so yes, I rely heavily now on that. But these books are great to keep, and I have a budding witch in the family who I can pass these down to, and who knows, they might be of interest to her. But if not, then they can be maybe sold to people that might be interested. So yeah, I've got all this collection of books, and I mean, I have a lot. You can imagine over the years, guys. But it's also nice to look back over your practice and to know what you've done, what you've achieved, how you've done it, and how far you've come. It's great to see that. And you don't think that when you first start. I remember in the coven when you first get initiated, the first thing is that you have to go once a week and sit in a room with candlelight and an ink pen, with the nib instead of a normal pen, and you have to write in your book and copy from the Book of Shadows in the neatest writing possible. And then the high priest and high priestess will look at it, and if it is deemed that it is not good enough, they will sling it away, tear that page out and tell you to start again. And they will do that till you finish the whole of the book, because it's representing that particular movement, that coven, that ethos. And so they want each one to be a replica of the original book. So they don't want any blotch marks or anything like that, or misspellings. It's got to be exactly as the original was. And so that is rather hard, but as I say, when you are practicing just on your own, you can do your own, you can put you into it, your practice. Now Seder is slightly different, guys. With me, it's all inner work. It's all with guides and journeying and the ancestors, and so I don't write or put anything much down. A lot of it is where I do video files for myself if it's something important, and then I've got that to look at, to play on computer when I need it. But a lot of what I do is inner work, and once done is finished with. It's not something you need to look back on. It's very fluid, and so not something to concern yourself with. If something works, you remember that. And because it's so different to the average practice, it's more about being in line with your inner self, and you are sort of shown the way, and it's more about your nature from the darkness within as well as the light. And so a lot of it is just how to explain, a lot of it is part of you, part of your soul, so you're not going to forget. It's not something you need to write down. I know, for example, if I'm going to do some healing on someone, I know exactly what to do because my guides are there, my helpers are there, and the ancestors are there, and they are directing me, and they will tell me of the outcome, and they will give me the words I need, and the runes, the power, the portals, everything that goes with my practice is doing without reading, and so much more on the spot. And you are doing something different every time. Nothing is the same. And that is so different to what I've done in the past. But for you budding baby witches out there, just starting off, it is great to do all these books because it shows you how far you have come. I just wanted to talk to you about the books. I hope it's been of some help to you. I'm going to leave it there. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't subscribed, guys, please think about doing so. And thank you to all my subscribers that I do have. Thank you to those that watch every week. I do appreciate you so much, and hope you're all well. See you again next week. So wherever you are, whatever time of day, night or evening it may be, I wish you the best ever. House of Elaine.